Hey and welcome everybody to Vanguard Tactics. I'm your host Stephen Box, and if you're interested in Warhammer 40k, then you're in the right place. So today's day 43 of the lockdown, and as you guys probably well know by now, I go live every single day to help us feel a little bit closer, less isolated, and to really build that 40k community. Now, this show does revolve a little bit more around the more competitive side of the game, but I support absolutely all ways to play the game of 40k. So please, if you have any questions whatsoever, drop them in the chat. Would love to hear what your questions are, and yeah, literally it could be about gameplay, tactics, strategies, units, combos, rules, sportsmanship, whatever it might be. And every single day at 6 o'clock I go live. So I'm going to dive into the chat. We got Zeka, Wayne, Henrik, Wooden Spoon Wargaming, Martin, Brian, Rashai, Stephen, Simone, RK Reptiles. Yeah, doing very, very well. Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. Hope you guys are doing well as well. Where's Jack? Okay, so got a great question here from Brian. How many reps with an army unit rule is enough to really master it? I would probably say something around the 20 to 50. I reckon you get good 20 reps in, 20 solid critical thinking reps where it's at. Not just where you're just throwing down. I mean, yeah, tried and tested against all of the difficult matchups that are out there. So I think that is key, absolutely one of the fundamentals. Yeah, and when I actually look to redo and add to some of the academy, it's going to be something I add in. I'm going to take some of the strategies that I brought into place from the prep program that I ran before the LVO and incorporate some of that into it. So I'm very excited about doing that. Yeah, I've had a really good day today. Some more filming for the PPE stuff, and literally just got back just in time. Yeah. So, right, let's answer some more questions. So yeah, I reckon about 20 reps. But again, like that, got real strategy and structure behind those 20 reps to really master something. Rashai said, what is critical units for Ultramarines? Calgar for me is up there. Big. I think he's credible, Calgar. I really like, as Brian said there, aggressors. I really like suppressors. I really like triple repulsors. Yeah, that's definitely what I run. Suppressors, aggressors, and repulsors is my list. Yeah, funny enough, actually, I just brought home some of my suppressors that were at the studio because I'm going to paint those up to be from Iron Hands into Ultramarines. And yeah, it was all good. How did the filming go? Yeah, all good. Pretty much got everything I need just finish off some editing now, which is going to be great. Yeah, that should be coming along nicely. Yeah. Joaquin, how you doing, mate? Martin said, how does it change your game if you play an opponent that can't be wrapped and trapped like an all-flying army? Well, basically you have to play very differently. You have to play full-on aggression. So you're never going to max score. Like, I think you can get that out of your head. Like, you're never going to get that 42 because you do not have the leeway that you can when you can wrap things and take hostages, as I like to say. So you literally have to just kill as quickly as you possibly can and just destroy absolutely everything that's going to be a threat to you. And that's what you need to do straight away, is analyze what's a threat to me. How do I neutralize it? And how do I do that as quickly as possible? So yeah. Is there a way to get those reps in through theory or in solo practice? Oh, absolutely. I think like some of the lessons that we do in the academy, I genuinely think help people with those repetitions. Sometimes the repetitions can literally just be picking the right secondaries, and that is one of the games that we play every single week, is all about picking the right secondaries. And there's certain things that you can get, like you can let's take a unit, let's say I don't know, aggressors. Well, deployment, you can practice that over and over again by yourself. Yeah, so you can practice that army, you can practice and if you think about the I don't want to give too much away that's on the academy, but just think there's 6 different missions for the ITC. There are 6 ways you can set up deployment. That's 36 different combinations. Practice all of them. And especially if you use like the LVO rules with how they, or Frontline Gaming ran the LVO with their terrain pack, was that each of those things had a different setup for terrain. So you can do that by yourself. You know, you can go, right, well, this Saturday I'm going to deploy 3 times against this and against that. So again, these are all things that you can do. And I don't want to give too much away, but hopefully you can fill in some of the blanks there. Anyway, so yeah, you can certainly do a lot even without anyone nearby or having to play that. So I actually did, while I was at my studio today, I did a little bit of play testing, and yeah, very good. My list is shaping up quite nicely. So I'm really impressed with what I can do with that list. So I was just playing out some different stuff, basically. Brand Justice said, sorry if this has been asked. New to the channel, welcome. Hope you enjoy the channel. What are your thoughts on 8th edition multiple book setups? Do you feel 9th edition is required for a consolidation would be better? I mean, I don't really think, yeah, I mean, there are a few books, but I think that's always going to be the case until and if the game ever goes digital. But I don't know about you, but I really like this. I love getting a new book, and I love opening it, and I love flicking through. I love reading it. I don't get that same sense when I download it from iTunes. I pay the same amount of money, but I don't get the same amount of value. And I think that's what it comes down to. There's something about having the physical book in your hand rather than it's on my iPhone or on my iPad or whatever. Because I've got about 50% of my codexes in this bookcase, and I've got the other 50% on my phone. And I don't know, I just really prefer, even like the smell of it and everything. You get the nostalgia of that when you were younger and you got your new codex for your army. There is definitely something about that, yeah. So I don't know, I do like the books, I do. But I don't feel that there's too much bloat. You probably only need, 2 to 3 books maximum. Any more than that, and you've probably gone for like a full-blown soup of soup, Let's say you've gone for demons and you need the chapter approved because the new data sheets are in there. You need the demon codex, you need the chapter approved book, you need the rule book, you need Vigilus Ablaze, and let's say you've had a detachment of demons, a detachment of Chaos Knights, and a detachment of Chaos Space Marines, and then you need Faith and Fury, and then you'll need the new Psychic Awakening. So that could be 8 books, but we're talking extremes here, right? We're talking absolute extremes. Most armies are 2 to 3, yeah. Like Harlequins, I'll need about 4 pages from a White Dwarf, and then my codex. Happy days. Yeah. Thomas has said, hey Stephen, love the show. Discussing with my brother yesterday, Tomb Blades, Tesla or Gorse. I really like the triple shot, which explode on 6s. I just think that's so valuable, especially in Overwatch as well. I just think, especially as we move into more of a maybe horde meta and combat meta, then, death by 1,000 cuts all the way. Yeah. And especially if Necrons get some love, then like -1 AP and thing. Yeah. Yeah. Res Scarecrow, my orc list has been doing great, but between the boys and the mech guns, I give up kill secondary super easy. I've kind of given up on the fact that I will give those 8 points up. Is there a better way? I think the mech guns are always going to give away such huge. It's same with vibro cannons as well, because you've got such small little units. It's difficult in an ITC format because you are going to give up the kill more quite easily. And I think if you're going to play orcs, you're probably going to give away the kill more, unless you go for just utter boys everywhere and characters. Because a unit of boys can be quite difficult to take down if it's got a 5-up, 6-up. So, yeah, if you have got those extra elements, you need just to be aware that you have to get the hold more. So if you've got too many points wrapped up in your shooting and you don't have the board control, not only are you going to give up the kill more to your opponent, but you're also going to give up the hold more potentially, or you're going to struggle to get the hold more, because it's okay to give up the kill more, providing that you at least get a kill and you get the hold more, and then you get the bonus, and then you can still be up. And the bonuses are all like, I've got itchy nose. They are all, holding and securing based. So actually, you've got a slight advantage there. So as long as you can do that, you can give away the kill more. That's not a problem. And if you ever get the opportunity to get a kill more, you take it. If that means spending 2 CPs to also pass a morale check, if that means fight twice to get the kill more, you take that opportunity at every single occasion, and that will just create that point buffer that you need. Yeah. Oh, Zekers, I missed a question. In your opinion, do you think we'll see the Farsight, Enclave, and Tau meta? I don't know if we'll see it as a full-blown meta itself, but I think we will start to see it because it's a very cool list. And it's a bit more tricksy than your regular kind of just triple Riptide. So I think we will start to see some very talented players use the Farsight Enclave. That's definitely. I'm not saying this isn't what I mean, but that style of list appeals more to me than a triple Riptide. So if I was to ever go Tau, I would certainly go for it. But I like combat too much. I've realised that. I just love combat. Sisters, all combat. Blood Angels, all combat. Harlequins, all combat. Even my Eldar was pretty combat heavy, actually. So, yeah, Genie's still a cult down here that I need to start building. Combat, yeah. I love combat. Combat's where it's at for me. Mon929, finally caught you live. I normally work now. I missed the rule question day, but could I ask? Oh, please do. What do you think happens first? Tyrannid, Acid, Blood, and Catalyst both proc when they lose a wound. I'm not sure what you mean. If you can, it's been a while since I've looked at the NID Codex. So if you could explain that rule interaction a little bit more, then I can help give you that answer. Rob said, thanks, Brian. I've tried Battle Scribe, but it was a bit confusing. I'll work with them more, try and get a better handle. Yep. Rules blow isn't the problem. FAQ blow is the problem. I mean, let's be honest, right? I think in GW's defense, now I say this all the time to the guys on my course, and all you need to do is know your FAQ. That's all you need. Your responsibility is to know your rulebook and your FAQ. And that's typically one FAQ. You can always print it out, stick it in your codex, whatever you want to do. It's free on the internet anyway. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You only need to know that one FAQ. So literally just get in that habit. Every time you go to an event, think, right, I'll just check my FAQ before list submission. And then I'll check it. So make sure you're happy with your list, send it off, have all the paperwork out in front of you that you need before you write your list, and then you send it off. And then the day before the event, you check the FAQ again. Right, anything I need to know that's changed since the last time I play tested with this. And then you're fine. You'll get in that habit and you'll know it. And the more you play, the more, like on the academy, we go through different lessons where people, talk about, it encourages list discussion, okay? you know, things will come up like, oh, you can't do that, or oh, did you know you could do this, or whatever. So, or oh, did you see this FAQ? You know, and it's the more you're around that, the more knowledge you'll gain, the more experience you'll have, and you'll be, you know, but let's say somebody's playing, and you'll just go, oh, I think that's been FAQ'd, mate. Can we just check that? Up on the phone, boom. Takes all of 4 seconds to get to that FAQ. I, for example, put hyperlinks on from the Academy app to Games Workshop, so you can just go straight from the app to Games Workshop FAQ. So you don't even need to go on Google and all that. You just go open app, click FAQ, bomb, and it'll come up. Yeah, just super simple, super quick, and that way you can stay in touch with everything you need to, because all the information's there, freely available on the website. So yeah, I think that's great that they even bothered to do it, actually. But yeah, I don't know. It's tricky because I think sometimes the FAQs do answer some really simple stuff that I'm like, you had to answer that, but it's obviously not clear for everyone. So it's all about gaining that clarity. And if it was put into the rule book and stuff, it would just be like, there's nothing worse than having pages and pages and pages and pages of rules to, you know, it's so off-putting to get people into the game. So I see why they've simplified it in the way that they have, and then have like the erratas and the designer commentary and all that stuff to give it a bit more, you know, oomph to it. Yeah. What have we got here? Rizal said, will you consider doing some fitness content with hobbyists and gamers in mind? Sort of, here's some tips for you people in our hobby and their unique challenges. Yeah, like, oh, hang on a minute, I've really skipped ahead here. Wow, I've really missed out loads. So I'm going to quickly go back. Rob said, thanks, Brian. Okay, yeah, Crom, yeah, okay, cool, well done, good. Okay, Waz said, I was involved in a conversation this morning as to what constitutes wholly within in the context of the 2020 secondary behind enemy lines. Okay, so how I would view that as, all of your base from your model has to be inside that line, basically. I would just constitute that as wholly within. I'll get the I think I've got a short note to it here. See if I can bring it up real quick. I'll read it out. Is it that one? Yep. I need to update the new the ITC mastermind as well. Maneuver secondaries. If at least one of your units that does not have the fly battlefield role is wholly within the enemy deployment zone at the end of your turn, earn 1 point. Starting from turn 2. If at least one of your units that does not have the flyer battlefield role is wholly within the enemy. Now, if you, this could literally go in 2 ways. Wholly within means all of your models, in terms of terrain, when wholly is incorporated, as long as all of the models are touching it, then the unit is wholly within. But to be honest, I wouldn't risk that. So therefore, if I'm playing in a tournament, if you're unsure, ask your TO straight away. How are you going to rule behind enemy lines? If you have any ambiguity, but if it is just a case of, you know, pushing that model, if he's on a 32mm base, half an inch extra, just to make sure your entire model is in, I would just do it. So I would just, personally, I would play it that the entire amount of my base has to be inside that line. That's how I would personally play it, because I'd rather be safe than sorry. Yeah. But I can see why there could be some controversial, like, or, you know, discussion about it. Wayne said, Stephen, it seems to me that you struggle to get all the information out of your head and into a format for us to learn from. Are there plans to upskill the other coaches to help edit? Yeah, it's just a huge amount of content. So it really is a case of, for me to, especially during this time, COVID-19. I do have plans to take on somebody full-time and I've been looking for an editor for ages, but I do have somebody in mind. And basically, as soon as COVID-19 they're going to be working for me full-time. And from that point on, it's just going to streamline the process. So that's going to help massively. And it's not just the editing of obviously this content, because I've been much slower as I would have liked. I'd like the Grey Knights done, that Grey Knight video, but because the level in terms of what I'm trying to produce is up there now with like the graphics, and the guys on the Academy will see the new slides that I've done and the amount of work that's gone into them. We're looking at, I think when I last counted, there'll probably be about 100 videos, maybe getting close to 100 videos on the Academy. Now, that's 2 videos a week. So it's as soon as COVID-19 is over, yeah, it's going to be go time. And I'm doing a lot of the prep work at the moment. So yeah, but literally like even these lives, going live every single day for about an hour, and I obviously have to chill out a bit before, so I'm focused, answer your questions, and I get emails about stuff. So this whole thing's probably about an hour and a half. Do that every single day. That's, 43 days so far. We're looking at, in terms of hours that I've put just in live videos, 43 times by 1.5, that's 64 and a half hours I've put into just these live shows, just during this time, which wouldn't normally happen. So there's been a few mitigating, and I can't always get over to the studio and things, so it's been a bit more, things have been much slower than expected. Yeah, so I will try and up the game in terms of the content speed that I get out, but yeah, it is a case of this whole COVID-19, and also editing is a real high skill level, and it costs a lot of money to get the software. We're talking, like 500 quid plus just to get the software that you need really to do a good job. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, in terms of, as Brian sort of said there about would I consider doing some fitness content and hobbyists with gamers in mind, I don't mind doing it, but it's whether the demand is there. Because if it's only there for if only 5 people are interested, then it's probably not worth the time versus that time of mine put in elsewhere into making competitive 40k content. I mean, I'm happy to try it and see how it goes down, but if it's not necessarily appreciated, but if nobody watches it, then it's kind of pointless doing it, right? There will be a module on the Academy that I've planned for talking about it, though, because I think it is important there. Yeah. Especially when it comes to prep for an event. So another... sorry, Andy. Here we go. I keep missing questions. Table chair set in 8th edition. Do I tell my opponent what units are in my transports? Yep, you do that. You need to keep that clear as well at all times. And same for what's in Deep Strike. Simon said, not a 40k question from a nutrition point of view. Which nutritional cuisine is the most balanced? I mean, they're all pretty balanced, really. My personal favorite is probably Mexican, because you can keep it quite high protein, quite low fat, and moderate carb. So it can normally hit my macronutrient and calorie goals, plus really tasty, and it's got good, get lots of vegetables in that as well. Something like a roast dinner is also great, to be honest. So any home cooked food is fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You can make pizzas healthier, than than ordering from some sort of takeaways, whatever. You can, go for healthier alternatives and make it yourself. Yeah. So I think any cuisine can be balanced, really can. Luke said, if Horde and mid-board control becomes meta, what do you think of Carnifex or Hive Tyrant with 4 destroyers, Four Devourers, 24 strength shots, no AP, still worth it. I'm yet to see him really take play, so I would just be guessing, and I don't really want to do that. So, yeah, I mean, Hive Tyrants are good, but I don't know about Carnifexes. Yeah, I think I'd go for a bit more shooty Hive Guard and stuff like that. That's probably what I would play if I was going mids, and then loads of Genie Stealers for the board control. I think that's what I'd go for. Yeah. Brian said, Wayne, he just keeps improving. He's just been dedicated to tabletop gaming for just over a year. I do hope we see more content from the other coaches and tacticians. Yeah, like there's the things with the other coaches, like Dan and Jack and Mark are all extremely high up in their jobs. So, and the distance between us all is about 2 hours. So to get them to, again, come and deliver a seminar is so tough, which is why I take majority or all of the academy calls and the lessons, because it's just really difficult to pull them away from their full-time job, because it's only really my full-time job. And for a long time, because the business is very new, I can't ask everyone, look, guys, you need to quit your jobs to make this happen. And I haven't got any money to pay you, because it was a brand new business. So as it grows, like I said, I will start to employ people, yeah, and all that stuff. So we're just a very early day business, but we're making good strides, and we're way ahead than I ever expected us to be, and we're moving much faster than I ever expected. But I'm just trying to keep up as much as I possibly can. The other thing as well is a case of, like, Brian, one of the tacticians there answering the questions, he lives in Utah, so it's really difficult for us to do content together because of that distance. So hopefully when all this COVID-19's over, I'm able to fly over, I can meet up with Brian, we can get loads of filming done, or he can come over here, do stuff like that. So yeah, it will come in the time, it will come. Andy said, what's your opinion on the new AdMech units, at least what's been shown on Warhammer Community so far? So as far as I saw yesterday, there was new horse riders. There's the Flying Flamer unit that looks quite nice with the 12-inch flamer. I think that is the unit, and it ignores cover, I think. That's the unit I think I'm going to be looking at just for a screen. The screen unit that can't be wrapped. That is what AdMech need desperately. So I'm not too interested in the horses. Definitely interested in the flying units with the flamers, because they're going to be horrendous in Overwatch. And then if Manipulus give them an extra 3-inch range, then you're looking at a 15-inch flamer, quite like that option. Yeah, could be good. And then if they're Mars, maybe 6s to wound, they're going to get a lot of hits, and they might get one of those stratagems like some of the other books have got, like where you don't roll the number of shots, it's just auto 6. That would be incredible for them. Imagine having like a unit of 10 of them. It's like 60 hits, range 15, and then every 6 you roll is a mortal wound on top for Mars, because I think it's 6s to wound. I mean, that unit's a goer, really is. So I think I'd be looking at putting some of those in for sure. And then maybe even the flyers, because what the flyers add are, again, another screen, great for movement blocking, great for zoning out. So I really feel like just with the 2 new flying units adds a huge amount to AdMech that they've lacked previously, where they can really get shut down quickly. So yeah, and great, like flyers as well are absolutely incredible for just being the closest unit, so that units have to consolidate and pile in towards those flyers and not towards robots and destroyers, the things that you don't want getting tied in combat. So you can use your flyers to push people out then. So I think that could be quite good, definitely. So Thomas has said, rules question, reroll hits in the shooting phase comes from many auras. Example, cruel, does this apply in Overwatch? I've seen different things and was wondering how it is played competitively. It depends on the wording, okay? If it just says in the shooting phase, then you only get it in the shooting phase. If you're going to get it, if it just says you reroll hit rolls, then it will just be for every time you make an attack. So it literally depends on the way that it's worded. What a lot of people do is that they look at a wording in a rulebook and then they assume it is what everyone else gets, and that's not always the case. I mean, I've made that mistake plenty of times in the past. It's a genuine mistake, and as soon as someone tells me, say, oh, that's not how it works, I'm like, wow, no, you're right. Yeah, I just, it is just that assumption. And I must admit, that is one thing I would love to see if that did change. It would be a case of like you get that character gets the keyword reroll or something, and all rerolls are the same across the board, right? So if a unit gets it, it works the same way as a character gets it. If it's their inbuilt ability, it's the same way. So we all know that it's this way, basically. That's what I would personally like it like that. Yeah. I think Overwatch and shooting should be the same reroll. I think combat should be its own reroll. I think for example, let's take the chapter master one. I don't think that should work personally. I don't think that should work in combat and shooting. I think it should just work in shooting, and the only way to get reroll misses in combat is through a chaplain litany. Therefore, meaning that you can't just take one souped up chapter master. No, you've got to take a chaplain, you've got to take a captain. And I think that would probably balance Marines a little bit more, because their chapter master stratagem is just incredible. It's just, I think, too powerful still. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that anyway. JP Wargaming. So Andy has said he has no love for Admech. He's blinded for the love for clowns. I do actually have a lot of love for Admech. Some of my favorite painted models of mine are Admech, and I did run Admech last year for. I ran it for one tournament, but I really did enjoy playing with them. This was when the Castellan was like the big bad guy. Table chair seat, Brian. Thank you very much. Yeah, Brian, you do an absolutely fantastic job answering some of these questions. Acid Blood deals a mortal wound on a unit on a 6, and Catalyst ignores the wound on a 5+. Both of these have the same trigger on the model unit loses a wound. Acid Blood deals a mortal wound to a unit on a 6, and well, normally how it works is, so if you will, I mean, this might not be in the same instance, but normally the player whose turn it is can decide which one triggers first, unless it is an attack that does an additional amount of damage, and therefore you get the feel no pain after that. That would work differently, okay? Because you would resolve the damage first, okay? And that would be, so you go through the hit roll, the wound roll, the save roll, and then the damage, and then the mortal wounds are in addition to that damage, and then you would get your feel no pains, okay? But normally, let's say there's a couple of things that interact at the same time. You, as the player whose turn it is, can say which one happens first. Hopefully that's answered your question. Does combat block line of sight, and do you need line of sight to Overwatch? So yes, you need line of sight to Overwatch, unless the weapon can ignore, or the unit can ignore line of sight. And no, you do not need line of sight for combat. You can literally fight through a concrete wall if the other unit is within an inch of that concrete wall, okay? Space Wolves, if you Space Wolves, if you play Touch of the Wild stratagem, does re-rolling a 6 grant you 2 extra attacks, or is it the 1? Thanks. So I don't know what that stratagem is, so I'll have to look it up. Let's have a look. How quickly can I get there? Not very fast, clearly. Come on, this is orcs. Hopefully, if it's not a new one, then I don't have it. There we go. Touch of the Wild. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. Select one Space Wolves character model from your army until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by that model, an unmodified hit roll of a 4+ scores an additional hit. So yeah, and then if you're in with the Savage Fury, a 6 would get you 2 hits if you rolled a 6. If you were in your Super Doctrine, yeah. So you'd get an extra hit for a 4 and a 5, and then you'd get an extra hit for 6s as well. Are assassins really good anymore? Are they a must Imperium? No, I don't really think they're a must anymore. When they were 1 CP, you just think, yeah, the utility's great. Having the ability, like even just putting in 1 Calexis assassin, or was it the Calidus? I can't remember which one now. The one that basically makes you spend more CPs. That's really strong in certain matchups, and was actually always my go-to. I never really liked the Eversaw. The Vindicare I always rolled a 1. And I think if you're ever going to run something like for example, 1 Vindicare, just run it as its own separate detachment and run 3 Vindicares. You won't get the extra CP, but at least you know that you will kill a character with those 3. You're not going to... The thing is, in isolation, those assassins are not going to do anything. They need to be well supported in familiar roles. So, take 3 Eversaws and you will clear Horde, yeah? Or take 3 Vindicares and you will kill a character, because maybe the first one whiffs, the second one does some damage, and the third one confirms the kill. That's pretty much how that's going to work. But if you've just got 1, then you're going to be disappointed with him every single game. Promise you. Yeah. Pro Marley, doing very well, thanks. Wow, we've had so many questions. So many questions. So many questions. Trenny said, any thoughts on making a Space Wolves Death Watch army? Well, Mark is currently working on our Space Wolves army, and then Death Watch, I'm still haven't had time to look at Death Watch properly yet. It's going to take a while to try and get them to work, and I'm just not playing enough at the moment to really list craft, because I like to get inside the game, see how units operating before I really finalize on my list. But I must admit, I personally prefer pure armies. It's just much more thematic to me personally. That's how I like to play the game. I like to keep a lot of my armies like the same. So even with my Harlequins list, there's like 100 points spare that I have, and I was tempted to put in a Succubus, and the Squad of Witches is a patrol detachment, because then the Succubus with a shard net means that I can advance and charge her up the field if I keep a red grief, and then if she makes combat, I can stop infantry from falling back. But then I was thinking, I don't even really need that, because I'm good enough at taking hostages, wrapping and trapping anyway. Don't need it. So then I thought, oh, well, maybe I can put in an Archon and then a unit of Cabalites instead, which are Blackheart, and then I get Vect. Now that could be tasty for the Harlequins. But then I'm like, well, I'm not pure Harlequins, and I kind of feel a bit, I don't know. So I can't wait to see what Psychic Awakening get. But I'm happy to play a slightly under strength list. Like, I put in 2 Death Jesters into the list, and I know they're nowhere as good as an Archon with the Vect ability. So I'm happy just to take that on the chin and just roll it pure, basically. Yeah. But that's just the way I like to play the game. But then if I get to the final and I'm like, oh, if I'd have had Vect, I'd have won, then I probably didn't play well enough anyway. So I need to take that and learn from it, or not be upset that I lost that game because I didn't have Vect. And it was my choice to not put Vect in. So that's on me. No one else's fault. Okay. Yeah, definitely the content manager. Yeah, not an editor, not an editor. Well, an editor would certainly help, but yeah, content manager would be great. Kind of what I basically need is yeah, the whole lot. So we do marketing, content manager, producer, editor, yeah, community manager, finances and admin and HR. You need all those aspects. So at the moment, it's just me during this time, and that's fine. Like, yeah, but we're gonna get there together, and like appreciate all your support and everything. So yeah, we're gonna get there. Yeah, but I said Brian's right. I'm certainly the plans are there to get this all laid out over time, as I feel like you know, I want to expand whenever that time may come, and also as the business grows. Like you can't start. I'm not going to go right. Let's employ 5 people if the income's not there, because the whole thing would just collapse. You know. Stephen could be the new Mr. Motivator. Primarily out of the VT team, who would you say is the best chess player? No idea. No idea. Paul said anyone playing Leeds. If anyone plays in Leeds, hit Paul up. So do you think you can do a module on tilting? There will be one. It's in the event. So it's going to be in the module, which is all about playing in an event. And it's like during. So I've got pre-event, during event, and there'll be post-event module. Yeah, I'm just kind of working on at the moment. Robert's originally from Leeds, but he's in Doncaster now. Well, Robert, Paul, hook up, get some games in, lads. Yeah. Best thing to do is, how could you guys connect with each other? I don't know, maybe search for each other on Facebook or something. Yeah, go for that option. Taylor said, thoughts on using bodyguards. I've standard crisis a veteran cadre unit. The refilling hits and wounds in melee strat is good to have to block in pocket, but not sure if it's worth the points. I think you're referring to Tau, but yeah, I'm not sure either, to be honest. We'd need to get Jack to talk about that. Jack's the Tau man. Yeah, 15 inches, Brian, not 50. That would be incredible, wouldn't it? 50-inch flamer. Could you move your camera? The 45-degree angle reading another stream's question is killing me. Right, how about that? Is that better? So then it's like I'm looking at you. But the thing is, the camera, yeah, I don't know. Is that too intense? Straight on? I mean, I'm happy to listen to the people. If you prefer this view, give like. If you don't prefer this view, don't do anything. Then I'll know. So if we get more likes, then I know you prefer this view, and I'll keep it this way. In fact, I don't even need to see that. That can kind of go like that. Now I can read your questions. Right. You lot prefer it. Excellent. Cool. Fine. We'll go with this. And because I'm working on a big screen, I've now moved the column so it's literally right in front of the camera. So there we go. I'm just going to make that a bit smaller. Happy days, guys. Happy days. Oh, look at that. Everyone prefers this view. It's because you get more lighting in, isn't it? That's what it is. And if I move that keyboard, because I don't even need the keyboard, that can go there. That can go there. How about that? Better? Cool. I mean, I've been doing 45 minutes already. Not sure it's worth having. Castellans are starting to see some critical roles in Sisters list with similar, yeah. What is an easy army to learn in 40k would you recommend? I mean, Space Marines are fairly easy to pick up. So I would pick something like Ultramarines. I know it's cliche because they're like the the Games Workshop poster boys, but yeah, I really feel like they're a good one to start with. They just like everything works in synergy so well. You can't go wrong with the way that they operate on the table. They're pretty brutal. As long as you keep it all relatively quite stacked together and move it up in one big column, I think it's fairly straightforward in terms of how you operate and run that. So yeah, it's slightly on the lower minimal model count and also very easy to paint, get to the table. They come in most of the starter boxes. Intercessors for days are going to do great with you. A couple of characters, you're good to go pretty much. So Yeah. Oh, hang on a minute. No, don't do that. Don't reload the site. Crom said, on the fitness topic, I really appreciate the image that you put forward. It's not mystery that a large percentage of gamers are physically unwell. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a case of doing simple, basic stuff, but it's all about empowering people with the right knowledge. There's so many myths in things that just don't work, because everyone's an expert when it comes to nutrition. Like, anyone who's lost anything would tell you what they need or what you need to do. Oh, you should do this, or I tried that diet, or I've got this book, or I'm doing this thing, or I'm joining this weight loss club, or I'm doing that. You're doing it wrong. You haven't tried this. There's so much conflicting information, but no one's really laying out a path from A to B. And that's kind of what I try and do with my clients, is just keep it super simple for them. And funny enough, they all get results. So yeah. And it's nothing crazy. Like, it's not keto, it's not fasting, it's not vegan, it's not gluten-free, it's not superfood based, it's not the caveman diet, it's not the Californian diet or the Mediterranean diet or any diet. It's just about building habits around their lifestyle and empowering them with knowledge, and for them to understand the value of food. That's the most important thing. And to remove the guilt and the psychology that we can sometimes build up around how we eat and how we exercise, and the like feeling guilty for doing certain things. Like, get rid of all that, and all of a sudden people become a lot more effective. Crom said, and I think it's part of the image, but because everyone around them is sick, they don't see it's needing fixed. Crom said, but I'd like to think that faces like you and Henry Cavill in the gaming world might open and get some people start talking about the health more seriously. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it'd be quality if me and old Henry did the gym sesh, wouldn't it? And then, yeah, had a game of 40k. That'd be quality. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it is just a case of, for people to realize that they're not mutually exclusive. Yeah, you don't have to be into gaming and not into sport or fitness. There's certainly a middle ground there. Any extreme of one, I've seen people that are far too extreme in the fitness side of things, and they're also unhealthy, potentially, whether it's emotionally, socially, in terms of their psychology, or even physically. They can be unhealthy because they're potentially gone too far down that rabbit hole, and vice versa, too far down this rabbit hole with the gaming. So it's about finding that happy medium and finding something you enjoy. Okay, often we certainly, I'll speak from some of my friends that are into gaming. Typically at school, they weren't interested in fitness because fitness in PE or physical education never appealed to them, because they didn't like the sports that were on offer. And straight away you have that negative connotation with, I don't like sport because you didn't like PE. But there's an exercise out there, I promise you will enjoy. You just have to try them all. Yeah. It's like picking up games and going, oh, I didn't like that game. Or it's like going, well, as a kid, I didn't like Cluedo, Monopoly, or chess, so I'm giving up on board games now. But they never found 40k, and look how good 40k is, right? So you just need to try out different things. Yeah, it's about experimenting and maybe taking what you like from one and not into another. I'm currently looking to get back into competitive 40k and like the look of knights. What allies are good for knights, and what are knights? Do you know what? I'm going to let Brian take that, because Brian is our knight expert, is a tactician. Brian said, I know among the other academy members, there's definitely been an expectations of health improvement just based on proximity. Yeah, definitely. I think, because I do talk about it a lot, it is infectious, right? So yeah, it does help. Colton said, hey, leave Calgar alone. Those fists are made for efficient punching. Now Calgar should get reroll hits. He's an exception. You know that. Calgar's my boy, so he should get reroll hits and wounds. I mean, yeah, just give him all reroll hits, all reroll wounds. Calgars is the man, I think. Yeah, Brian absolutely killing the questions. Rickard said, oh wow, there's so many questions. I feel like there's so many questions. Wow, so many questions. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to leave that there because I've already been 50 minutes and there's still a million questions. Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly look through some of these things. Some people talking about fitness, love that. Can you fire Overwatch with 6 or 8 inch range weapons on charged units as they charge from outside? No, you have to be in range at the time of their charge. Rickard said, any thought on having a VT logo behind the wall behind you? Well, look, yes, it's in the car. So I've got a mock-up of what I want in white, and then it's going to be black. So I'm going to make sure it fits, and then we're going to get it done in black because the white one's going to go in the studio, but it's done. And then I need to get more of this lighting so that can go up as well. So the logo is coming. Prime Marley feels like he's having an interview with me. How do you kill mobile armies with salamanders? Oh, I think salamanders are a fine place for killing mobile armies because mobile armies don't tend to be very durable. And when you're putting out, death by many cuts, they go through them fine. Yeah. Okay, guys. Waz is said here, it's held for review. Look me up on Facebook and I'll add you to the Sanctum Imperialis group for leads. Good, great. Look, I love it that you guys are using this to get some games in with each other. I think that's fantastic. Do you think a reminder about personal hygiene should go out from TOs? There is nothing worse than playing around a bunch of people that, yeah, and I think that, look, if you're going to be in proximity with people, if this whole COVID-19 has taught us anything, it's about personal hygiene, okay? I'm no expert, so take this with a pinch of salt, but like with anything, it's about changing your habits. Change your habits and we'll slowly, like whether you want to improve your physical fitness, your emotional health, your physical health, let's say personal welfare health and anti-COVID-19 health. It's all about changing habits, yeah? Washing hands properly, washing clothes, wearing PPE if needed. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping the guys with the PPE stuff. Like I've been filming today, I'll be editing this afternoon. I'm taking that time away from my work time and production time because I'm passionate about, helping this world get back to some sort of normality. And, the guys have got some incredible plans here. And I really want to help that because I think it's such a good cause, because without that, we're never going to get back to that normal some sort of normality in the future. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave that there tonight. That's 55 minutes. These are getting longer and longer, but look, I'm loving all the questions from you guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if I didn't answer a question of yours. I try my best, and you should see that, like, me trying to go through all of these is, yeah. And I'm just constantly talking for 55 minutes. It certainly wears on the old cheekbones. Okay. So I need a drink as well. But guys, I really appreciate you turning up every day to watch these lives. I'll keep this camera angle for now. If you guys prefer that, I'm happy to keep this camera angle. So that was a great suggestion. I can't remember who made it. But yeah, guys, I'm going to see you all tomorrow. So stay safe out there. And if you haven't done so already, go do some exercise, get a good healthy meal in, whatever you need to do. Stay hydrated. The simple things every single day. Yeah. Honestly, I could go into some crazy detail about nutrition, but the most important thing, eat some nutritious food. Lots of colors in your meals, loads of vegetables, good protein sources. Get some different sorts of cuts of meat in there, like some fish and some steak and stuff. It's all good. Try and get well-sourced food as well, so not the mass-produced stuff. And get some good quality sleep, 7 hours a night. Try and get to bed at a reasonable time. Go out for a walk, stay hydrated, and honestly, you'll feel so much better for it. And if you do that every single day, you're going to see great results and feel so much better. And Skittles are actually my favorite sweet, by the way. Yeah, so having a few little Skittles sprinkled in your day, like never demonize food. But when I do mean colors, I do mean fruits and vegetables. Anyway, guys, take care. I do really appreciate you, just so you know that. And I'm incredibly grateful for all of your comments, questions, support, likes, subscribers, and welcome to everyone that is new as well. I really appreciate it. So I will, yeah, guys, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. See you later.